The three biggest mistakes estate agents make with auctions. Talk to me, Jason.
I think the first one is probably overpricing. As an agent, and being a previous valuer myself, you go out there and
You were good because we used to
Oh yes, we are.
clash battle.
We did.
Nicely.
And what the most important thing for that value is to get that instruction on.
Too right.
Because that's what they do, that's what they go. And sometimes they can go over edging it a little bit with
Yes.
regards to pricing. With auction, it's very much a case of it's the other way around. With private treaty, you start high, you go low. With auction, you start lower and go higher. And that's more important than anything, really. It's getting that price correct, because it's a good tool to have in their toolbox as an agent, that you can go a different way of doing it.
I mean, let's say you've got a 100 grand house. Most estate agents would say put it on at 110. How the hell do you sell something to say let's put it on at 85?
Yeah. Well, what you do is find out what the customer wants, because a client knows with Rightmove, Zoopla, and all the portals which are out there, every client knows what their house is worth, and they probably know more than what the estate agent do, because they live there, they see what their neighbours have all sold for, and they tell them the prices that they've gone for, etc. So a customer will always know the right price for it, and so dealing in agency and dealing with selling property, most of the time you want to turn around to a client and say, look, if somebody walked through your door with a sack full of used £20 notes, obviously after it's been AML checked, what would you take for your property? I'm pretty sure that majority of clients would give a price there. And if you're doing a part exchange or an assisted move valuation for a company, they usually ask for three prices.
Of course they do.
4-week sale,
Yeah.
an immediate sale, and a forced sale. We work on the forced sale price. So that's what the client wants, and we start below it. As soon as we hit that price, we're going to get it. But the most important thing is to ensure that the client goes higher.
What the language do you use to say, look, I know you want 100 grand, but I'm going to put it on 85? Because the first thing when I were agent, people say, well, I don't want to accept anything less than 100.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, the most important thing is they have that safety net, which is their reserve price. So if it doesn't reach that price, they don't sell it. But the critical thing is getting people through the door. Everybody wants to get that high echelon price, etc.
Well, we're not in this market, are we?
No. No, you're not going to get it.
No.
But it's just about getting the more interest in that property and making the house stand out more. And sometimes to make it stand out more, by pricing it a little bit lower, also brings a different audience.
Yeah, it doesn't bring down the bottom price, it just gets them through the door, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And what it does, it finds their timescales as well. But at the same point, if somebody's not motivated, if they're not in a rush to sell that property, then it's not right for auction.
Okay. That's the second point, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Lack of
it is.
motivation. What does that mean?
The motivation, and that's the critical thing. The property, I've said it a couple of times, but the property sometimes is irrelevant. It's all to do with that client.
No, hold on a second. I thought it was all to do awful houses that you can't get a mortgage on.
No, not at all. It's all to do with the client. And quite interestingly, I did a little bit of market research on one of my properties. I got 4 valuations on it, all from estate agents, and I'll keep the location quite to myself. And I said to every single one of them that I'm moving to Australia, and I want to sell my property within 4 weeks. Every single agent said they could do it. Every single agent came up with a price which I thought was, a couple were probably a little bit above where I thought it would be, but I kept overemphasising that I am motivated, I want to sell this property, I've got to be done within 4 weeks. So all of them got to the price, I was all happy with them. I said, right, okay, so do you have your own conveyancers? And every single one of them says, yes, we do. I said, what's the process with that, and roughly how long it takes? And every single one said it between 13 and 16 weeks. I said, well, no, I've said I want to sell this within 4 weeks. Not one of them could do it for me. So it's all about finding something which is right for that customer, because I was a really motivated client. I wanted to sell it quickly. I knew the price. I was happy with the prices that they were going to get, but it couldn't be done.
Do you think agents are too concerned about getting the price, and we don't
Yeah.
actually listen to the vendor and their motivation?
100%. We deal with lots and lots of properties which have been on the market for some time. And sometimes they do get referred to us as almost like a last resort, which we are happy to deal with as well. But some of the price reductions that we actually get on some of these properties are phenomenal, because literally that's what we do. We turn around to the customer and say, what price do you want?
It's funny because I think agents are a bit afraid to ask that question, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all about the chase in order to get the property on the market, to get the listing. And the old adage is, we've all been trained, if you haven't got it, you can't sell it.
Do right.
But at the same point, if it's so highly priced, you're not going to sell it anyway, because buyers are not as maybe naive as they used to be
No.
many, many years ago. And all the information is readily available for it. So it's finding out the motivation. If that client wants to sell, we can help them sell it. But on the flip side of that, if somebody's on the market at an ambitious price, that they're happy to sell it if they get this price,
That's probably not for you.
they're not for us. They're not for us.
What's the third and final?
The third and final one is, and this is the big one, it's agents trying to sell the fee.
What, paid by the vendor?
No, it's with regards to our fees, it's the buyer that pays them.
Right. Okay.
We charge 4% of the purchase
Wow,
price,
that's a lot of money.
or £5,000, whichever's the greater, plus VAT, to the buyer of that property. With the way that fees are at the moment, and it is a battle out there, a lot of agents don't perceive that we can actually get those fees, but we do. We show the benefits to the seller, we show the benefits of the buyer of doing it. What we want our agents to do is do what they're best at, selling a property. We white label it to all the agents, so it's all branded to them. They concentrate on selling the house, we sell the fees. We know all the maybe excuses why somebody shouldn't pay it, why they don't want to pay it, etc. But more importantly, we explain the benefits to the buyer as well.
So
The
you're
transparent
so
process.
the estate agent deals with the vendor and it doesn't cost the vendor anything. That's great.
Yeah.
And basically you'll deal with the serious buyers and
Absolutely.
sells the wrong word, but highlight the advantages.
Absolutely, and at that point as well, we will also do an AML check on them. We make sure that they're all buyer ready, that they're fully aware of the terms and conditions going forward, etc., and how it protects them and benefits the buyer as well, which sometimes an estate agent can't explain.
No.
Because they wouldn't run through a mortgage application with a buyer, etc.
No.
They'd pass it on to the correct people. They wouldn't run through the conveyancing, etc. They'd pass it on to the right people. So when it works fantastically well, the agent does their bit. They sell the house, which they're really good at. We deal with the back end bit, with the process of selling the house with the fee.
Jason, thank you.